Welcome to TESK, where we test your subject knowledge with these interview questions and answers. How can you make a periodic signal non-periodic? By removing the pi. By definition, a signal is considered periodic if it contains integer cycles or multiples of 2 pi. When you get rid of the pi in this example, you are left with just cos 20t, and it becomes periodic as we don't have 2 pi cycles anymore in it. When sum of two periodic signal is non-periodic. When one signal is negative of the other. If we have our one signal as sine 20 pi t and its negative as sine minus 20 pi t, then their sum is 0, which is non-periodic. Is multiplication of two periodic functions always periodic? Not periodic when both are same signals. When you have two identical signals, then their product is the square of the signal. For example, cos A into cos A, you have cos square A, which by trigonometric identity gives 1 plus cos 2a by 2. Here 1 is not periodic, cos 2a is periodic. Overall signal is non-periodic. Here we have not used pi, but a can be considered as a multiple of pi. If you take sum of u of t and cos 2 pi t, is the sum periodic? Not periodic. When you sum a non-periodic signal, in this case u of t, with a periodic signal, you get a non-periodic signal only if u of t is valid from 1 to infinity. If your u of t is valid from minus infinity to plus infinity in the exact same range as your cos 2 pi t, you get a periodic signal. What is the advantage of sinusoid over step signal? Fidelity and smooth corners. A sine signal has a distinct property of giving you sinusoid with these operations such as addition, multiplication, differentiation, and integration. Whereas for a step signal, if you differentiate, you get a delta signal, and when you integrate it, you get a ramp signal. So sine wave is considered advantageous. Also, sine waves have smooth corners, whereas your step signal has sharp corners. And sharp corner signals are disadvantageous as Fourier series cannot be computed easily on them. And they also tend to have secondary harmonics, which is also not needed for a signal. What is the magnitude of complex exponential? It is 1. The magnitude of a complex exponential is always 1 since by Euler definition we have the complex exponential as cos A plus j sine A. And taking the magnitude, you are always end up getting cos square A plus sine square A, which is 1, no matter what A is. Regardless of A, your cos square plus sin square by trigonometric identity always gives you 1. As such, the magnitude of your complex exponential is always 1. Are even signals positive? No, it can be both positive and negative. If your x of n or your input signal is positive, then your x of minus n is also positive, giving a positive even signal. But if your x of n is negative, x of minus n is also negative, giving you a negative even signal. Which signal is produced by multiplying even and odd signal? Odd signal. As you know, sine is an odd signal and cos is an even signal. So multiplying an odd signal with an even signal is like multiplying a sine with a cos. Now from trigonometry, we have sine A cos B is equal to sine A plus B plus sine A minus B. So multiplying an odd signal and an even signal gives us two sines which are two odd signals, and the sum of the odd signal is again an odd signal. Separating even and odd component of signal results in a 0. Any signal consists of an odd component and an even component. Separating odd component alone results in an even signal, and removing the even component alone gives you an odd signal. When you get rid of both the components, you end up getting a null signal or just a 0 signal. How can you convert an analog signal to a digital signal? Using two mechanisms, which is sampling and quantization. Sampling gives you a discrete signal, and quantization takes a discrete signal and gives you a digital signal. Can sampling alter analog signal frequency? Yes. Sampling can alter your analog signal frequency when the sampling rate, which refers to the number of values in 1 second, is reduced to significantly small number. As the sampling rate goes down or gets smaller, your signal frequency changes variably. What happens if your sampling rate is not equal to Nyquist rate? So, what is Nyquist rate? Nyquist rate is something that is defined as the sampling rate, which is twice the signal frequency, as shown here. So, if the Nyquist rate is not kept, two disadvantages we could end up facing, which are the loss of signal shape and the loss of the signal's frequency, both of which contain your signal information. Or in general, you lose information if your sampling rate is less than Nyquist rate. Is signal normalization same as signal correlation? No. Your signal normalization normalizes the signal for the same x-axis range and y-axis range, whereas the signal correlation tells us how close two signals resemble one another. The closer the resemblance, you get a +1, and lesser the resemblance moves to 0. Thank you.